Making sure it's public. Voice channel should be good.
Working on our illustrated book with at VERY there at HTTPS.
Right. Nope. Dude. And one more.
Alright, this is Twitter here, and that's Blue Sky there. Let's make sure the stream is live.
There you are. Okay, wonderful.
Yay!
Okay, we have
Doing the
muted.
shares on my end. At this link here, generate preview, and wait, not generating the preview. Let me try. Paste. I know this is the correct URL. Okay, it generated the preview.
Okay.
Excellent.
So, that one's more of like a reddish. Let me start with more of blue on this one. And let me change it up using... I'm going to use the oil paints. The only downside about the oil paints is it adds a texture which kind of raises multiple layers sometimes.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes if I'm working on something with a lot of layers and I know it's a project that will slow down, at least this is how I did it on older computers. What I would do is I would export a step forward. Like I would export an image, I would rasterize it and export it as a single layer image, and then import it, and then just be like, this will be this document, step 2. So if I need to do that multiple times, it would be like, it might be 3, 4, 5 steps, but each step will work fast. I had to do this with some Pencil 2D documents because Pencil 2D doesn't let you group layers into folders, so you can pack them away. So just to keep things organized, I found it easier to export, like once I had, say, 3 or 4 layers animated, I would just export the document as an animated GIF, then re-import it as a single layer into a new document, and then keep working on it. Downside is if you want to go back a step, you actually have to, that means you'll have to redo all the steps you did after that. But still, just keeping a couple of steps in the document seems to help.
No, I don't like that. Okay, Rebel, I get it. You have a limited amount of redos. Sometimes there'll be a pop-up menu that goes, "Oh, just remember, you can only undo so much." It's like, thank you.
Can you set how much you can undo?
It just tells you, "Oh, hey, there's a limited amount."
Article. I think in Blender 3D, they let you. In Blender 3D, they let you. Hang on. There we go. The link wasn't showing up correctly.
Uh-oh.
There we go, now it is. In Blender 3D, that let you set how many undo steps you have and how much memory you can allocate to undo steps as well. So I was wondering if maybe this had that feature as well.
Maybe.
So here are our 3 pieces of evidence, or 3 things you want to steal in a Dream Diver game. A Dream Diver dream game. So you could be going into the dream of a criminal, in which case you'd want evidence that they did their crimes to use against them in court, or locations of where you can find evidence that they hid, or something like that. There's a lot of potential for a game like this.
Yeah.
But for now, it's kind of complicated. It's kind of a complicated game idea, so it's going into the back burner, or not even the back burner. This is into the will do someday once I've established a game studio and like once I've followed in Monolith Soft steps a bit. I want to say they're a good example of what to do as a game developer. Like, they aren't they're not a boys club, for one thing. They make a point of like of trying to hire a diverse bunch of people so that they can get like ideas and talent from all walks of life, ideas and talents and perspectives from all walks of life.
Because it's kind of boring having one aspect. I mean, I think Persona is a good example of that, because you can only, it gets so annoying. It's like, oh, you don't even get to choose whether your character is more feminine or masculine or non-binary.
It's glaring. It's starting to get, not just Persona but all of Atlus, it's starting to get glaringly obvious that they only expect teenage boys, or at least like 40-year-old men who are nostalgic for their teenage boy days, to play their games. And not even just men, straight men to play their games, but like specifically straight men who are familiar with specific Japan only things, specific Japanese cultural things. And a lot of that stuff doesn't translate well around the world. Like, well, a lot of the scenes where guys peep in on girls.
Yeah.
Like, that might just be a rascally thing for Japanese high school boys to do, but like around the world, we're teaching kids that, that's not okay. Yeah, that is harassment.
That is a creep move.
Yeah.
How dare you do the creep move? We don't want the creep move. Quit it.
Oh, the worst example I've seen was when I booted up this one game from theirs. Like, okay, back in the, let's see, I think it was with PS3 when Catherine came out, and like there was this one like little group that I was hanging around with that were like really into Catherine, and I just like, I saw a little bit of it and it's like, oh, it's this puzzle game where you push blocks around, right? And Catherine Full Body came out for the Switch, and I'm like, oh, hey, I actually get to try this out for myself. And I tried out, and the first thing the game hits me with is it is the fool who trusts a woman. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be one of those games, isn't it? And like, I just thought maybe it was just a once-off thing, but no, every loading scene has a misogynistic quote from someone, like a similarly misogynistic quote. Do not trust women. Women are the devil. Women are evil. They will betray you. They will. They like basically there's quotes about Jezebel from the Bible, Jezebel and Delilah. Yeah, and like, I mean, okay, I'd known for quite a long time that Shin Megami Tensei in general had kind of a weird thing when they write female protagonists. There's always going to be this pattern where you're basically Adam, you are basically the biblical Adam looking for Eve, and then one girl will show up and claim to be Eve, but no, it'll turn out that she's Lilith, and the Lilith has actually turned your actual Eve that you're supposed to partner with, has turned her into a damsel in distress, and you're supposed to rescue her. And that happens in like every Shin Megami Tensei game. You're always Adam looking for Eve, and when you get to Eve, you're on your way to getting the best ending, and you might get tricked by someone who's pretending to be Eve. No, you're almost guaranteed to meet someone who claims to be your Eve, but she'll turn out to be either your Lilith or your Delilah.
I will say 3, it's just kind of straightforward if you're going the evil path. It's like, you really should go here. And it's like, la 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 la.
Oh yeah, going through the Amala network.
I'm sorry, but I feel like playing 3, the best way is do the evil route first.
Yeah.
Because you get the stronger monsters.
Yeah, and then you can take them through the other routes.
Yeah.
And that's usually how I like to play. Like, if there's a game with multiple endings, I like to get the bad ending first, and then the good ending. Because like, once I get the good ending, I feel like I've done like I've actually done the game. I've done what I wanted to do in the game, and I don't really want to see the bad endings.
Right. Or for my one thing that I did on one game where I did most of the quests, and the choice I wanted to choose for like the bad ending for some of the characters, I did it the quest towards the very end. So that way, I
Oh
could
yeah, you can reload.
yeah, I could see both scenarios and not be disappointed or stuck with the bad choice.
Actually, yeah, that's something that I'm hoping to do with our game Too Many. In that, like, something that kind of bugs me about games with multiple endings is like Shin Megami Tensei in particular, is that even if you start the game with all the most powerful monsters and at level 99 and all that, it's still kind of a slog to get to the part where the game changes, to get to the part where you can change your ending. So in Too Many, what I'm hoping to do is make that first part really short, or just to allow you to back up to where the story changes, rather than having to slog through a whole bunch of beginning stuff, like 3 or 4, or like in this case 9 times, as there are 9 futures. I don't want you to slog through that beginning part unless you want to.
I really, if I had one complaint about Shin Megami Tensei 3, it's just you couldn't skip any scenes. I hated that so much. Especially when you're redoing so many.
Like SMT4 lets you, I think, fast forward scenes, if not skip them entirely.
Yeah.
Like 4 probably had the best, like of the SMT games that where you have to slog through the beginning, SMT4 probably has the best. I mean, it still has the problem that the alignment lock-in happens very late in the game. But yeah, you can skip most of the dialogue. You just have to slog through. Most of the slog is battles.
Going just with a gray tone. You know, it's a dream. You're not focused on fine details. You're focused on,
yeah,
you know, is the person wearing the MacGuffin or not?
Yeah. The people in particular can just be. I can already see the silhouette of the person you're drawing there, just with that little bit of detail. Yeah, I'm reminded of Tokyo Mirage Sessions, where anyone who doesn't have a name is just a colored silhouette. It's a really nice stylistic way of showing, like, this place is populated, but you don't have to talk to everybody.
Right.
I want to say Tokyo Mirage Sessions was the first game to do that too. At least use the colored silhouette style. Or rather, it was more like cell shading, except without the shading. So just a solid color, pastel color cell on a 3D model. So yeah, they were smoothly animated and everything.
I may have goofed, so what I'm going to do is duplicate this layer. So I can delete some mistakes, but not delete everything.
Yeah.
Like I just did.
I have
Actually, let's just focus more on. We just really need to focus on the person wearing said necklace.
Yeah. Over the past couple of days, I'd been working on this one little. I'm not sure if I would even call it an art project. It's more like a math project that turned into art. But yeah, it was like taking the basic yin-yang shape and extrapolating it into 3, 4, and 5 parts.
I don't know why, but one thing that comes to mind with that, Katamari Damacy.
Okay. Maybe because of the rolling action, colorful and rolling action.
Possibly. And just the bright colors.
Yeah. I originally, I don't think I posted it publicly, but the original 3-part one had pink, was like a pastel pink, blue, and yellow. And when I posted it publicly, it had a darker red, blue, and yellow. But that was because I wanted the 5 parts. I wanted the 5-parter to have the saturated colors saturated and possibly even neon colors.
Mhm.
And then so the four-parter had pastel colors, and then the three-parter had shades of red, blue, and yellow, and then the two-parter was just gray. I mean, it's normally black and white, but I didn't really want to do the typical black and white yin yang.
Mhm.
But I also didn't want to give it colors when I wanted the 3, 4, and 5-parter, 3, 4, and 5-parters to have colors.
I still kind of wonder what it'd look like with hearts instead of
Um,
circles.
yeah, I'm thinking about it. Like, circles are when you're spinning the parts, circles are the same shape whenever they spin. But hearts, like, what position would I start them in, and like, how would I spin them?
I would say put the hearts, lock them in, have the pointed tip towards the center.
Okay,
So that way,
so yeah, the tails are pointing in, and then the tails of the yin yang are the same. The tails of each swimming bit. So like the hearts take the place of the dots. The hearts take the place of the circles.
yep.
Yeah. Which means they will also affect the shapes of the yin yang parts as well.
This is just going to be some kind of completely androgynous, just
Yeah.
because we don't know what this person is. It's just a dream person.
Yeah. A hazy image.
Yeah. Easy.
This could be like when you're in the dream, you might have a device, a camera, that you could take a picture of someone in the dream and it'll print out in real life.
Mhm.
I don't know how it would work as proof though. That'll need some play testing and bouncing off of more people, I guess.
Mhm.
But it's something to think of in the future. That's something for future us to figure out.
Yep. And it'll look a little different here. Maybe it's grayed out here because you don't really pay attention to what color it is.
Yeah.
And then here it'll just be this because your mind's like, well, it's a heart. It's obviously red. And then it keeps
Also
changing colors.
thinking about how it would work in video game mechanics, but also how it would work being that it's in a dream.
Mhm. I think one thing that comes to mind is like the fairies from Ocarina of Time. How they're always different colors, except
Oh yeah,
Navi, of course.
yeah.
But you walk into one room, they're one color, and then you walk back, and then they're another color, and it's like, ah, they're just toying with me at this point.
I kind of remember like in Majora's Mask, there's distinctly a pink, green, orange, and pink, green, orange, and maybe blue of the Great Fairies, and you have to assemble them in parts.
Oh yeah, those. I was meaning just the standard fairies, but not.
Yeah,
Not the Great
Ocarina of Time. I want to say there are pink and red fairies, and there was something special about the red ones.
There's
But
a
I-
green one.
Oh, there's a green one. Okay,
Yeah, the one that gives you the teleporting.
Magic? Oh,
Thing.
Farore. Yeah, okay. Farore's wind.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's red, blue, and green for that. For the Great Fairies, yeah. The red fairy I was referring to was, I think it was when you get a butterfly to land on the tip of a Deku stick.
Mm.
Then it turns into a red fairy. I'm gonna have to look this up to verify it, actually. Let's see. Ocarina Red Fairy. Okay, I might be thinking of something else. Might be a Mandela effect happening for me.
Mm.
Or it might be one of those, like, one of those tips that I saw in game magazines that that they just completely made it up on the spot just to fill a page.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, idea. So what if there was a treasure chest, but it was hiding in bushes? The only way you'd know is if you saw someone, you know, saying something regarding that. I don't know.
Someone reacting to it.
Yeah, dream logic. Trying to think of
I
this
guess I'm
as
kind of
dream
like,
logic-y as possible.
yeah, the movie Inception has kind of come into mind too.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the dream logic that they used in that. Actually, I think there was only one thing that I want to say is based on reality, or at least based on things people would say about dreams, and that was that if you spin something around and it doesn't like wobble, then you're still in the dream. Like if you can make it spin forever without touching it, then you're still in the dream.
Well, joke's on them. Every time I was in a dream, I got distracted by other things.
Yeah, I think the way to consistently test it if you're in test if you're in a dream is to set a regular alarm when you're awake, and like every, I want to say, half an hour or so, test, like try to put your hand through your other hand or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do it, then you're in a dream. Like, because you do this so much in real life, you start getting used to doing it in your dreams. And then when you can do it in your dreams, you can tell that you're in a dream, and you could turn it into a lucid dream and like take control.
Mm-hmm. Only problem is my dreams tend to. I get distracted in my dreams. Like, one moment I'm doing a thing, and the next, suddenly something else. Or my favorite, I'm watching something, and suddenly I'm in said thing I'm watching.
Yeah.
Every time, without fail.
I don't really dream about watching stuff much. But I will dream about being in some video game that I was playing before I went to sleep.
Well, every time. If I'm. Well, there's always some chance I'm watching something in a dream, and then. Yeah. That. I think the thing that always freaks me out in dreams is if there is a normal sky, for some dumb reason, I feel a need to cling to everything because I feel like everything's gonna turn upside down and I'm gonna fall.
Oh wow. I used to have kind of a fantasy when I was little, staring up at the stucco on the ceiling,
Mm.
that like I was actually flying really high above the landscape, and the stucco I was looking at was actually the ground and little like mountain ranges and stuff and little houses and villages,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe a big city. And that was kind of fun, just like pretending that gravity was already reversed for me and I was in the sky.
Yeah. But
But I never dreamed about something like that.
I think fear of heights probably plays a role into it.
Mm.
If there are no heights, your brain is coming up with, oh, well, what about this? You didn't think about that. It's like, oh no. Why? You know what? There we go.
Everything with that symbol on it is something you can retrieve from the dream.
Yeah.
Or it might be that you have to look for the symbol You have to figure out what idea you're looking for before you start diving into the dream. And then, once you figured out what that symbol is, then you can identify it in the dream itself. And then higher difficulties could have you have the game throw red herrings this way and that, or variations on the symbol that are meant to throw you off, which would be like the dreamer's own self-defense is kicking in.
Oh, playing with the Mandela effect as well would be a fun thing.
I think one of the main draws of this game it will probably be like moving around in real life as opposed to moving around in the dream itself. In the dream, you'll probably have like a bunch of like I want to say like a ninja's mobility loadout, grappling hooks and smoke bombs and like ways to move around silently and quickly, possibly even like warp magic or substitution magic if you get caught. But in real life, you'll just have your standard running and jumping, and like you'll probably be a little bit. I'll probably want to make the character a little bit athletic because I need in a game that I make, I'm gonna need the character to be able to jump everywhere. Like I can't stand playing a game where my feet are glued to the ground.
Oh, you don't want them to be useless?
Like the biggest disappointment for me in booting up Final Fantasy VII Remake was that your character can't jump.
Ugh.
Like they're stuck to the ground. Like I realize this is supposed to be Final Fantasy VII, but at the same time, this remake was supposed to be like this big, like ballyhooed, genre-defining experience, and they can't even code a simple jump. They can't even give your characters a simple jump. Not even the athletic ones. No. Not even Tifa can jump. Like she can, if you do the right kind of attack combinations, she can maybe air combo someone. But when she's just running around the city, nope, her feet are glued to the ground.
Of course. What would you expect? An actual good move?
Yeah. And what's most surprising is that like Monolith Soft, they let you jump everywhere in all the Xenoblade games. It's not like a moon jump all the time like in Xenoblade X, but it's a jump and it's a useful jump. It lets you cross gaps, and it just gives you that extra bit of feeling, that extra bit of immersion that yeah, you are Shulk or Rex or your custom character or Noah and crew. I think my favorite thing, though, and this is not in Xenoblade, but my favorite thing is when you can move around while people are talking to you.
Yeah.
And that's probably something that I'll want to incorporate in a game like this. You can talk to someone and keep moving, and like the conversation will happen. They'll probably follow you for a little bit before, like if it's one of those NPCs that has their own thing to do, they'll probably kite back to their own place. Or I'm not really sure if kiting is the right word for that, but they'll snap back to wherever they were before if you try to lead them too far. But yeah, you're not like the game doesn't pause to do dialogue. I think that's one of the bottlenecks of RPG development, having to talk to everybody or talk to a key NPC to move things forward. I guess one of the games that I kind of want to draw from is Kid Icarus Uprising, because like every stage is effectively timed because there's a song that's playing in the background, and you have to be at a certain part of the stage. Well, at least in the sky areas. There's a sky area and a ground area. And in the sky areas are, I think, exactly 5 minutes long. And there's exactly a 5-minute long song that plays in the background. And there's dialogue that's going on. But, like, you're always like fighting and dodging and strategizing while the dialogue is going on. So you don't actually have to stop and put down the controller to absorb the story or the world building. It's just happening while the game is happening. It's kind of the same for the ground stages. Like nothing's well, very few moments do they stop. Like there's this one point where you get turned into a dog, or rather, you get turned into a ring, and a dog picks up the ring. And as soon as the dog picks up the ring, you take control of the dog, and your characters are talking about what it's like to be a dog. And at some point, Pit is like, "Is that the smell of garbage? Beef garbage? Delicious beef garbage?" Wait, no, I can't get distracted. But while he's saying that, your camera is like turning over to the right to try and look at it. But you can still force the camera to the left and keep going where you want to go. But it is getting distracted, so the camera keeps turning to the right to try and look at where the smell's coming from.
Kind of creating a bit of a haziness here.
Okay.
Seeing if it'll work. If not, I could easily just.
A cloudy aura effect.
Yeah.
Hello, Lila Hamilton.
Hello.
She says you're really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. She's been painting for, well, pretty much your whole life, right?
I would say since at least high school.
Mm. Yeah. I think I had a short while of drawing in elementary, and like me and my one friend in elementary, we would draw like Mario characters and Garfield and stuff, and we would get pretty good at it. But then, like at one point, he just shot forward, and I don't know. I guess I lost all my motivation to draw around then because he got so much better than me, so much faster.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, okay, you win the drawing competition. I will stop drawing.
Aww.
But everything back then was a competition. Like there weren't enough people saying it's not a competition and that you should keep doing what you like.
Right.
And my parents were the exact opposite. You have to be the best at something or else don't do it.
Right.
Or at least if you're not the best at something, make money off of that something. And unfortunately that kind of became ingrained into my base thought system right now.
One second. But no. Drawing, on the other hand, I think is something that's stuck with me more since I was a kid.
Okay.
Come on, Rebel. Quit. Ugh. Quit not responding. You're not allowed to not respond.
We gotta fundraise you a more powerful PC. I heard there's a Raspberry Pi Model 5 now. I wonder if that might be good. They even had to like. I think this is the first time they ever had to raise the price on the Raspberry Pi. I don't like it because it's like the $40 price point has always been a feature of their thing, of their brand. So they had to break with that to release the Raspberry Pi 5. I get the feeling that maybe like there might have been enough backlash that they will wait until they can make a Raspberry Pi 6 for the old $40 price point. Like I haven't really heard much buzz around Raspberry Pi computers now, like since the 5 came out. So I wonder if maybe they're laying low. I broke the 2 bones in my dominant arm.
That is not
How did
good.
that happen?
That is not good.
So I can't draw anymore. I don't suppose if you wanted to draw, could you draw with your non-dominant? Like my dad, I think he was left-handed when he was little, but being left-handed was kind of a sin in India, or at least like it was you're considered cursed or something in the spiritual part of India, the people who believe in that kind of stuff. So he was forced to be right-handed, but then he broke his right hand and he couldn't write with his right hand anymore, so he had to be left-handed anyway. He had to go back to being left-handed anyway. And now I think he's left-handed.
Oh, the perils of living in a society where, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you get ostracized by your dominant hand.
Yeah, my mom tried to make me right-handed. She was religious, and for her, there was like some kind of parable about a guy who made an offering to the gods with his left hand under his right leg, something like that. He did something ridiculous, and the gods hated him and punished him, so it's bad to be left-handed. And so she was afraid that I would get punished if I was left-handed because I was, I don't know, a resurrection of that guy. I don't know what
is
the
it with religions and left-handedness?
I don't know. I think it's just differentness. Like, in my opinion, I think it's just the control freaks who are at the top of the religions, the people who say they can directly hear the voice of God, and are celebrated for it, like just exercising their control freakishness, just saying like, what can I make you do that you will obey without question? And I think left-handedness, like shunning left-handedness, is part of that.
Yeah. I hate that so much. Because, yeah, in Christianity, you kind of get the same thing, you know. The left hand is evil.
Yeah, and even in ancient Latin, I think left-handedness, their word for left-handedness is where we get the word sinister from.
Yeah.
And right-handedness is where we get the words dexterous from. Or dexter to refer to someone who's smart. And of course, sinister for someone who's evil. Dexter refers to the right, and sinister refers to the left. My non-dominant hand is really bad. Yeah. I guess, like, the only choice one has is, in that case, is to practice on it and, like, I don't know. Like I've tried writing with my right hand a couple of times. I can write mirrored with my right hand. And I'll notice that if I'm in the shower and the shower door is all fogged up, then I'll doodle on it with my right hand. So maybe I can write on a chalkboard if I'm a teacher or something standing at the front of the class. I can write on a chalkboard or a whiteboard with my right hand. But when writing on paper or drawing, then I would prefer to use my left. I guess it also depends on how many calories you devote to each task as well. Because if you start drawing with your non-dominant hand, I mean, it's going to be bad for a while, but it could improve if you wanted to. Especially if it's so much of a thing that you want to do. Like for me, I need to use my hands for like everything. I don't know if I could live without my hands. So like if I can't use my left hand, then I'll use my right. It's just as simple as that. If like I guess one good example would be typing. Like I eat with my left hand, or if I have like a mug of coffee in my left hand, like it's really important that I don't spill my drink all over my computer. So if I have to eat and type or drink and type at the same time, then I'll use my right hand to type, my left hand to hold the cup. Or although nowadays I suppose you can type without your hands. There's dictation typing.
Yeah.
And there's even dictation. There's stenography, which
Yeah.
I guess does use the hand still, but there's stenography for coding. I wonder if there's I wonder if there's dictation coding though. That would be pretty convenient.
Stenography does sound fun though. Just the idea of typing like a mad person.
Typing super fast. You just type. You type it one syllable at a time rather than one letter at a time.
Mhm. Eh. I love how Rebel is just kind of it, it likes to do its thing.
Yeah, we got to fundraise you a better computer. That's where we started this plot thread.
I think
You had
if I
mentioned someone
have,
could build you a powerful computer.
I think one of the things I need to do is just get to a point where I can get my own setup, but also energy and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And I lost the cursor. Ah!
Oh no. Did you save?
Yep, I've saved. Worst case, might be a good point to stop right there. I'm almost done
All
on
right.
this one.
Make sure to give us a like and subscribe.
Yeah. I hope to do more of these, so yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
And goodbye.
Bye.
1 second. Ah. Doot.